Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 rejected musicians who became successful. For this list, we'll be looking at talented people in the industry who encountered a major stumbling block or two on their journey to success. Are there other successful musicians whose early career rejections have inspired you to keep striving? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, The Supremes. These legendary doo-wop crooners rose from Detroit projects to superstardom through a combination of ambition, talent, and hardcore perseverance. Their first hurdle came when they were teenagers and landed an audition with Motown executive Berry Gordy. The Supremes, then known as the Primettes, were initially turned down by Gordy. He felt they were a little too young for the spotlight. Although he urged them to return after finishing high school, Diana Ross, Florence Ballard, Mary Wilson, and Betty McLeod constantly dropped by Gordy's studio. I got it back in my arms again, so satisfied. They took up background roles on other records until he eventually signed them on. The Supremes became insanely successful, charting 12 #1 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 and selling an estimated 100 million records throughout their career. My baby love, I need you, I need you. Number 9, Ed Sheeran. Sheeran wasn't always selling out stadiums around the world and exhausting every mathematical symbol in existence for his album titles. I'm in love with your body, every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you. According to the singer, his, quote, slightly chubby and ginger appearance and musical approach were not initially appealing to record labels. Sheeran even once played to an empty house. Fortunately, these rejections only fueled his fire to succeed. Sheeran began gaining traction online before releasing the independent EP, Number 5 Collaborations project. They say she's in the class 18, stuck in her daydream. After it peaked at number 2 on iTunes, he got a deal with Atlantic Records. Sheeran has gone on to become one of the world's best-selling artists. We guess more than a few people find him appealing after all. She played her fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Number 8, Linkin Park. While being told no once or twice may not be much of a concern, try getting pushed away 40 times. That's bound to make you become numb. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. These alternative rock icons became famous after their debut album, Hybrid Theory, earned a Grammy and sold 27 million copies worldwide. Their journey to that feat wasn't all rosy though. The band reportedly auditioned for almost 40 record label executives and were turned down every time. In the end, they earned the support of then Warner Records VP Jeff Blue. After he signed them, they'd go on to make 7 studio albums and counting. Linkin Park is now one of the best-selling bands of the 21st century. Number 7, Kanye West. Love him or hate him, you can't deny that no one hypes themselves up like Yeezus does. Kanye got his start as a producer. He cooked up several hit songs and garnered acclaim for his production on Jay-Z's monumental The Blueprint album. Despite Kanye's success in the role, he still desired to take the stage as a rapper. Unfortunately, labels didn't see his potential and thought he'd be better off as a producer. After a harrowing car accident in 2002, Kanye was more inspired to pursue his dreams. His universally acclaimed debut album, The College Dropout, took the world by storm after he recovered. God, show me the way because the devil's trying to break me down. Kanye's undying self-confidence took him from an obscure producer to becoming an artist who now holds over 20 Grammy Awards. So amazing, so amazing, so amazing, it's amazing. Number 6, Madonna. Even the Queen of Pop had to struggle to start her career. There was a time when Madonna Louise Ciccone was consistently getting turned down. She once sent Jimmy Lenner, the then president of Millennium Records, a demo of songs. He responded with a letter that basically said that Madonna's work wasn't good enough. This hardly fazed her. In fact, some of those songs would later appear on her self-titled debut album. Madonna's first major collection of work reached the top 10 in several countries and sold upwards of 10 million copies worldwide. Not only did she go on to prove that she was the material girl, but she later put up that rejection letter for auction. Number 5. Beyonce. With her carefully structured songs, elaborate music films, and meticulous live performances, Queen Bee is undoubtedly a music genius. But the full scope of her talent was not always recognized. Beyoncé notably appeared on the popular talent show Star Search as a member of Girls' Tyme, which eventually became Destiny's Child. The group actually lost the competition. However, they persevered until they signed with a label, and were dropped before releasing any material.
Say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. Better say my name.
The group later moved on to Columbia Records and became one of the best-selling female groups of all time. Beyoncé later broke out on her own to a successful solo career. Considering she's broken numerous records in several award categories, it's safe to say that a few people probably regret rejecting her. Number 4. Nina Simone. Before Nina Simone became the legendary singer and civil rights activist that we know today, she was Eunice Wayman, an aspiring classical pianist studying at Juilliard's music school.
And everybody knows about Mississippi gone down.
When Wayman auditioned for the famous Curtis Institute of Music in 1951, she didn't make the cut. This rejection was particularly crushing because her family had moved to Philadelphia in hopes of her getting accepted.
I want to stay here with you forever.
Undeterred, Wayman took up a job playing in a nightclub. She took this opportunity to reinvent herself as a jazz singer and took up the stage name Nina Simone. Her fiery vocal delivery and emotionally intense protest songs elevated Simone to icon status.
On me, and I'm feeling good.
Simone is now remembered as one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. Number 3. U2. If these remarkable rockers can pick themselves up from a rejection to become one of the greatest bands in music history, then U2 can do it. At the start of their career in 1979, U2 had recorded some songs but had no label to release them under. Frontman Bono submitted a demo tape to RSO Records in hopes of clinching a contract. He later received a letter stating that the material was, quote, not suitable for us at present. While this was a brutal rejection, it didn't keep the band down for long.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel that.
U2 released their first EP 4 months later. Decades later, they have now said hello, hello to nearly 200 million records sold and international fame. Number 2. The Beatles. The Beatles traveled 10 hours in 1961 to audition for executives of Decca Records in hopes of starting their career there. They recorded an astonishing 15 songs to demonstrate their capabilities. However, they were rejected by executives who felt that guitar groups were out of fashion and would likely never find success. We can't imagine how bad the staff of Decca Records felt as the Beatles enjoyed a steady rise to superstardom outside of the company. Especially since the band now has more record sales than any other musical act in history. You know what they say, all you need is love and to not reject the Beatles. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Lady Gaga. Def Jam boss L.A. Reid dropped the pop star after just 3 months.
I don't know what I saw. I don't know what I loved about her. But today, I don't feel the same. So I made the foolish mistake of letting her go.
Hillary Scott. The Lady A frontwoman never got past the first round of American Idol.
It's 1:15, I'm all alone and I need you now.
Missy Elliott. She overcame being rejected for her weight and unique artistic approach.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Elvis Presley. The date was October 2nd, 1954, and the place was the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. It was here that a young Elvis Presley performed his version of Blue Moon of Kentucky to an underwhelming reception. The talent manager at the Grand Ole Opry allegedly said Elvis would be better off quitting music and continuing to drive trucks.
What do you think?
Well, I think you ought to seriously reconsider going back to driving a truck again.
After hearing these crushing comments, he put more energy into his art. Elvis would put out what would become a critically and commercially successful debut album 2 years later. From there, Elvis became synonymous with musical genius and success.
Elvis Presley! Thank you very much, Mr. Sullivan.
His enormous influence is still felt today. Who knew a rejected Grand Ole Opry singer would eventually be crowned the king of rock and roll? Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.